So the reaction this morning is in two very distinct camps. One is not enough in terms of their response. The other is an encouraging evolution in Zuckerberg's thinking. It sounds like you're more of the latter.
Yeah, I mean, look, this has been on Facebook's radar for 4 years. We've known about this election for a while. They've been planning through other elections. It's a little bit weird that they're only rolling this out now. I mean, I feel like they had more time to prepare, but it's good. It's good that it's good that they're issuing these new rules. There's a bunch of them beyond the election ad one. I think that they're hoping for just an ordinary, smooth election. If this goes okay for them, they're going to be in the clear. They've been kind of under this cloud for 4 years that they're, a central problem in democracy. And if they can kind of undo that or just like get the target off of them, I think they'll be happy.
Right. Still, though, it sounds like you don't think this necessarily obviates some potential nightmare scenarios.
No, I mean, you got to be on the lookout for nightmare scenarios with elections in America right now. And, Facebook is just so kind of deeply embedded in the way that we communicate. Just, Facebook, the Blue app, but also Instagram, WhatsApp. And I just think that, the people who run Facebook and all of us, we don't know the many ways that, the repercussions that this central communication system could have. I think the people at Facebook don't know all the ways that it could backfire on them. And we see this, journalists are kind of constantly pointing out flaws in the system, misinformation that goes viral. And Facebook has mostly been reactive to this. And I think this is another reactive move, but it just may be enough to stem kind of, I think Facebook just wants to keep itself out of like the worst headlines after the election. And maybe this is enough to do that.
But Farhad, it's Julia. I mean, you're talking about changes that Facebook is making that still don't prevent people from seeing ads. This just prevents new ads from being shown in the last week. Considering the fact that more people are going to be voting early than ever before, it seems like these changes, being just a week in advance, are going to have the least impact than if Facebook had done this in any other year. I mean, this is so minimal considering how much money has already been spent on advertising, how much communication can happen that's not paid, and the massive reach, especially of President Trump. I mean, aren't you concerned that, this is just a tiny, tiny effort on Facebook's part?
Oh, I mean, I am concerned it's a tiny, tiny effort. I think that this kind of central problem of Facebook's role in democracy is, at this point, perhaps unsolvable, even by the people at Facebook. I think that, you suggested kind of the paltriness of this. I mean, I think that, like, a year ago, several years ago, they should have banned or severely limited political ads. They do not make, they're not, such a big part of their bottom line that they need them. Mark Zuckerberg seems to believe that this is a, central part of democracy, that it's kind of part of his view of free speech that we need these ads. But you're right, like election day is not really a thing anymore. People are going to vote early. His idea that misinformation right in the last week is more damaging is somewhat arbitrary. But, I think that, with a lot of this stuff, they're kind of coming up with things on the fly. They don't really know, because there's not a lot of data, like their actual effect on voting, on how, people vote, on their kind of motivations for it, and how people react to misinformation on Facebook. And I really think that their primary kind of view of the company at this point is like a kind of a PR image one to prevent it from kind of getting pilloried as it was the last time. They would be, yeah.
Yeah, if we look at the practical impact of this, and we can put on our Dr. Evil cap for a sec, isn't what's really going to happen is 8 days before the election, everybody who's got a political ad, dirty ad that they want to put out, is going to flood it into the system, but maybe not put money behind it until 3 days before, or two. Like, if they really want to target it for the last moments for those people who are going to vote in person, all they have to do is put the ad into the system ahead of time and not fund it to actually show up until that targeted moment when they want it to, right? So, I mean, it puts the onus on Facebook or others to comb through those ads in that moment of this big flood and find things that might be problematic.
Right. I mean, in that period, in the 8 days before the election, I hope, I suspect they will be, having kind of a all hands on deck effort to especially spot kind of misinformation in ads. But they've been really reluctant to, police any of this stuff. And so, I mean, they're the kind of tough road they have to go on is that Zuckerberg is extremely reluctant to appear partisan. And so if he bans an ad from either side, they don't want to be kind of seen as any kind of arbiter. It's really difficult to do that given their central role in this. And I think that, they're falling down on the task of policing their system because they don't want to appear, partisan in either way. I think that their central kind of problem over the last 4 years is just a lack of kind of courage and ability to stand up to the, the problems that their site has wreaked on the world. And I suspect that's going to continue. I feel like I'm giving them somewhat of the benefit of the doubt just because they've been through so much over the last few years, and I just don't have very high expectations of them at this point.